Let the doors be open. Plan ouvre les portes. Alors, statements by members, déclaration de députés, l'honorable.
The Honourable Member for Manicouagan. Mr. Speaker, according to the Quebec Federation of Chambers of Commerce, loan guarantees are necessary for companies affected by American countervail duties on softwood lumber. Well, you know what? Everyone in Quebec agrees. The National Assembly, the UMQ, forestry workers, everyone. Everyone except the 40 Liberal MPs in the Liberal government who aren't doing anything in the interest of our people. If the Liberal government refuses to commit to granting loan guarantees, it's because it doesn't want to. The government prefers to see our regions empty out, our workers lose their jobs, our companies close their doors instead of supporting the forestry industry. They're not even asking for money. They want loan guarantees. Today, the Federation of Chambers of Commerce will meet with the ministers responsible for this crisis. If the government refuses to commit once again, we'll have to reach the conclusion that once again, Ottawa has definitely abandoned Quebec.
For Mississauga Centre.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to share a special story of altruism. The other day, I was at Coffee Culture on Eglinton Avenue in my riding. I met the family who owns the shop. Prior to owning that business, Michael Reed was a successful engineer. His wife, Jessie, was a successful salesperson at Leon's. Their son, Aaron, who is graduating from high school, has special needs. Aaron was struggling in finding a job because employers seemed concerned with his special needs. Michael and Jessie quit their careers and purchased the coffee shop to create an opportunity for Aaron to develop his skills. But Michael and Jessie did not stop there. They decided to participate in the Planning for Independence program to provide other young people with special needs employment opportunities. Their effort will support families and individuals who may be denied chances elsewhere to improve their lives. Michael and Jessie deserve our gratitude. They are an example of heroes who are quietly making our community a better place for all.
Bravo. The honourable member for Carlton Trail, Eagle Creek.
Mr. Speaker, the Margaret Atwood novel A Handmaid's Tale has been adapted for television. It depicts a dystopian society where birth rates have plummeted for unknown reasons. A fascist theocratic state has assumed power, and fertile women are conscripted into sexual slavery, forced to breed children for the wealthy and the powerful. What happens to the women in A Handmaid's Tale is horrific. Women are treated as property, and those who dare speak out are permanently maimed. I raise this in the House today because what is fictional in Canada is reality in many parts of the world. Saudi Arabia is a gender segregationist theocracy where women are regularly harassed by religious police. That's why I was shocked and appalled by the election of Saudi Arabia to the UN's Women's Rights Commission. Margaret Atwood's horrific vision does not exist only in our imaginations. It exists right now, today, and it's a shame that this government is so unwilling to confront it.
Honourable member for Surrey Newton.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize a fantastic event that was organized by some of Surrey's finest entrepreneurs. This past weekend, led by the effort of Suk Brar, Herman Brar, and the team from Next Level Music and Famous Studios, international recording artist and actor Diljit Dosanjh energized thousands of fans at a concert in British Columbia. An international sensation amongst the Punjabi community, Diljit helped to create an exciting atmosphere, showing yet another example of how dynamic our multicultural landscape truly is. It was amazing to see all in attendance embrace their cultural heritage while also displaying their Canadian pride. Diversity is our strength, and especially in times that we are living through today, Canada remains model for the rest of the world. Thank you to Broad Brothers, and thank you to Diljit Dosanjh for an incredible performance, and thank you all the fans.
Hear, hear.
The honourable member for Esquimalt, Saanich Sooke.
Despite strong momentum coming to the Paris climate talks, Canada will still miss its climate targets. Instead, by 2030, we will reduce our carbon emissions by less than 1%. Clearly, we need to move quickly toward a more sustainable energy future focused on renewable energy and energy efficiency. This transition will not only be a critical step in reducing carbon emissions, but these measures will support economic development and create meaningful new jobs in local communities across the country. Renewable energy development will require skilled trades, equipment operators, engineers, and other skills that many Canadians already have and want to continue to use. Canada has a vast array of resources that are suitable for renewable energy development. Our diverse geography means green energy jobs can be distributed across the country, from our biggest technology hubs to small and rural communities. This future is within our reach. It is critical that Canada make meaningful reductions in our fossil fuel use and carbon emissions. Doing so will create good jobs in all of our communities. Let's get started on this now.
Honourable member for Coastal Bay, Central Notre Dame.
Mr. Speaker, it's with great pleasure I rise today to congratulate the Grand Falls Windsor Cataracts senior hockey team. Last month, the boys took home the Allen Cup, making them the national senior amateur men's hockey champs. This marked only the third time a team from Newfoundland and Labrador has won the Cup since it began in 1908. Wow. Led by head coach Tom Coolin and team captain Mike Brent, the Cataracts beat out the Lacombe Generals with a 7-4 win. And congratulations to goalie Brian Gillis, who stopped 30 of 34 shots. Senior hockey started in Grand Falls in the 1920s, and the team was known as the Grand Falls All-Stars. In 1956, the All-Stars were renamed the Grand Falls Ancos. And in 1991, the towns of Grand Falls and Windsor amalgamated, and the team became the Grand Falls Windsor Cataracts. Among the great players was one young man named Alex Faulkner of Bishops Falls. He was a member of the Ancos before he became the first Newfoundlander to play in the National Hockey League in 1961. Congratulations, Cats.
The Honourable member for Haliburton, Kawartha Lakes, Brock.
Mr. Speaker, the annual MS Walk was held in Lindsay this past Sunday, and I was proud to participate on behalf of my mother, who suffered from a progressive form of MS. $14,000 was raised. Special thanks to all the volunteers and organizers who went above and beyond to ensure a well-run event, and to this year's ambassador, Shane Orr, for all his hard work raising awareness about this terrible disease. I also want to recognize the people living in northern Kawartha Lakes and the townships in Haliburton County who are dealing with extremely high water levels and in some cases, like Minden, severe flooding. Family, friends, and neighbors have come together to lend a hand in this time of need. In Minden, township staff are working tirelessly under the leadership of Reeve Brent DeVolen, CAO Lori Blanchford, Community Services Director Mark Coleman, and many, many others. Appreciation to all the community organizers, emergency services, hydro, public works staff, and the countless volunteers who are demonstrating how small towns pull together in times of crisis.
Hear, hear. Honourable member for Eglinton Lawrence.
Mr. Speaker, every year B'nai B'rith publishes an audit on anti-Semitism that aspires to educate and reduce hatred towards the Jewish community in Canada.
Over the past 10 years, reports have shown instances of anti-Semitism are becoming more and more prevalent, with a 26% increase in 2016 over the previous year.
This trend, Mr. Speaker, our government is committed to a safe and an inclusive society where people of Jewish faith and indeed all Canadians can live free of intolerance. The annual audit is good work to advance this cause, and B'nai B'rith should be commended for its work. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member for Don Valley East.
Mr. Speaker, May 16th will be the official opening of the international headquarters of the Global Centre for Pluralism at 330 Sussex Drive. Founded by His Highness the Aga Khan in partnership with the Government of Canada, the Centre promotes research, learning and dialogue on the necessity of pluralism. Inspired by Canada's experience as a diverse and inclusive country, the Centre is helping the world to see diversity as a benefit and not a risk. To quote the Aga Khan, tolerance, openness and understanding towards other people's cultures, social structures, values and faiths are now essential to the very survival of an interdependent world. Pluralism is no longer an asset or a prerequisite for progress and development. It is vital to our existence. I would like to thank His Highness for his significant contribution to Canada and the world. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Flamborough-Glanbrook.
Mr. Speaker, being terrorized, persecuted, beaten, imprisoned, and killed is too often what faces Iranian citizens of Baha'i faith. The Khamenei regime continues to carry out coordinated efforts to eliminate this religious community. During this Iran Accountability Week, I rise to call for the release of the 7 wrongfully imprisoned Baha'i leaders that have become known as the Baha'i Seven. In 2008, the Iranian regime arrested Fariba Kamalabadi, Jamaluddin Hajjani, Mavish Sabat, Afif Naimi, Saeed Razoli, Vahid Tizva, and Baruz Tabakoli. These leaders faced trumped-up charges for nothing more than their religious beliefs and were sentenced to 20 years in prison. With the Iranian presidential election next week, I invite the government to join the official opposition in calling upon each Iranian presidential candidate to commit to the release of these innocent men and women. After 9 long years, Mr. Speaker, their release cannot come soon enough.
The Honourable Member for Laval-les-Îles. Mr. Speaker, the last survivor of the Armenian genocide living in Canada died at age 108 in Laval-les-Îles. Madame Kenar Bojalian lived through horrific times. There's no one left to remember this genocide firsthand, but we have many Canadians of Armenian origin who remember it. Every April 24th, we remember. We must denounce crimes against humanity. We can no longer allow these types of tragedies to occur against a people, a religious group, an ethnic group. Lester B. Pearson showed us the role that Canada must play for peace, with our partners helping belligerent parties reconcile. On a different topic, I met on Monday with flood victims in my riding, and I was stunned. I want to thank our government for showing such solid leadership alongside Quebec authorities to help our fellow citizens. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member for Cumberland-Colchester.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 60 years ago, in August of 1957, the National Geographic made the Bay of Fundy and her tides its cover story. More and more, the Bay of Fundy is being recognized as a marvel of nature to rival any in the world. The Bay of Fundy was recently recognized as one of the 7 wonders of North America, along with the Grand Canyon, right up there with them. Around the incredible Bay of Fundy can be found not only the world's highest tides, but Canada's oldest Indigenous settlement, the largest intact Acadian village, a UNESCO Global Geopark, the largest tidal power experiment in the world, whales, dolphins, and rare birds, isolated islands, hiking parks, and some of the oldest fossils in the world.
More.
MPs around the Bay of Fundy have established the Bay of Fundy Caucus to work with our municipal, provincial, and private sector counterparts to promote the Bay of Fundy as an incredible tourist destination. Our goal is to double tourism in the region for 5 years, and we are well underway. Thank you.
The Honourable Member from Montmagny, Lille, Kamouraska, Rivière-du-Loup. Mr. Speaker, on May 7th, elected officials from all levels of government and 5,000 citizens joined forces to call for health services to be maintained at the Notre-Dame de Fatima Hospital in the city where I was born, La Pocatière. Many people couldn't have been mobilized without the instigators, Sylvain Lemieux and Luc Pelletier, alongside the staff at the hospital, firefighters, and members in the community, members of the Kamouraska RMC. The message was clear. Maintaining health services is an important priority in our region of Kamouraska-Lille. Not only do we want to preserve the care, but to improve it as well. To show you just how attached I am to the Notre-Dame de Fatima Hospital, I am the one who inaugurated Room 121 on April 23rd, 55 years ago when I was born. So for us, regional health, and for me, it's a priority. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Honourable Member for Avignon-Métis-Matin-la-Matapédia. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, my thoughts go out to the Gagnon family, to Daphne died at Saint-Anne-des-Monts. My thoughts go to the many victims of flooding who have to deal with this. These people are living through anguishing times. Our thoughts are with them. When disasters of this nature occur, we see the best in people come out. Brave people don't hesitate to help, to provide safety for people who are affected. I want to thank them all. I want to thank the volunteers because their contribution is so important. I also want to underscore the work of the Red Cross, who's working alongside volunteers. April 23rd to 29th was National Volunteer Week, and I wanted to underscore the importance of the work of volunteers done in my region and across the country. Volunteer work is essential for organizations to fulfill their mandates. To all of these volunteers, I say thank you for who you are, what you do. You are the best in our regions and in Canada. The Honourable Member for Saint-Hyacinthe-Bagotte. National Nursing Week gives us an opportunity to underscore the many ways in which nursing staff work to improve our healthcare system. Nurses have been pioneers and very active on a number of societal issues like pay equity, preventive withdrawal during pregnancy, a better working quality of work during a professional burnout. They are attacking these inequalities in health and other social inequalities in the interest of the public. Nurses play a key role in our healthcare system, and this week and throughout the year, I invite all people to join me to celebrate nursing and to take the time to thank those people who work tirelessly in order to provide excellent health care.
The Honourable Member for Oshawa.
Mr. Speaker, this week is National Nursing Week, a week that encompasses International Nursing Day, which also happens to be Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern nursing birthday, which is May the 12th. It's an honor for me to rise in the House today to recognize the vital contributions that nurses make in the health and well-being of all Canadians. With more than 415,000 regulated nurses across Canada, they are by far our largest group of healthcare providers, and we should all take this opportunity to thank them for their selfless work. Mr. Speaker, there are many events taking place across the country, and I encourage all members and all Canadians to attend and show their appreciation. I'd also like to take the time to share the theme for 2017, and I encourage all my colleagues to tweet or share a Facebook post showing their appreciation for Canadian nurses by using the hashtag #YesThisIsNursing. Thank you to all of Canada's nurses for their continued leadership in delivering better health care for our nation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member for Fundy Royal.
Monsieur le Président, Canada's 100th birthday in 1967. That year, 370,894 Canadians were born. These centennial babies were born when Frank Sinatra and the Supremes were fighting for top billing in the charts, in the year that the Toronto Maple Leafs won their last Stanley Cup, and when Peter Mansbridge was still serving in the Royal Canadian Navy, his voice yet to be heard. Mais cette année, par contre,
But this year, however, they'll be using iPads to check their messages on Facebook. And we wish them a happy birthday.
Babies celebrating this year, including 7 members of this House, and in my riding of Fundy Royal, a very happy 50th birthday. And remember, even though you may be graying faster, 1967 is an excellent vintage and is now aged to perfection. Mr. Speaker, speaking of aged to perfection, today happens to be the 50th birthday of our friend and colleague, the Honourable President of the Treasury Board. Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Questions orales, oral questions. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, every day we have new questions about the infrastructure bank. $35 billion. Why do we need it? Who's behind it? And why is there such flagrant conflict of interest? The Liberals refuse to answer all these questions, and in addition, they give Parliament a single day to look at the bill. Why is the Prime Minister in such a rush with this? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, Canadians are eager to have investments in infrastructure that we all need. We've needed it for many years. We know that the previous government underinvested in our communities, in our future, and in measures that Canadians needed to succeed, to go to school, to go to work, and get home. And that is why, on top of the $180 billion we're investing in infrastructure, we're looking for other means to really fill all the needs that Canadians have for a better future. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
When the Prime Minister decided to give Bombardier a massive taxpayer-funded gift, we were outraged, but he defended it. When Bombardier gave their executive millions in compensation, everyone was outraged, but the Prime Minister defended it. Now even Bombardier's shareholders are outraged at the company's handling of taxpayer dollars. What will it take for the Prime Minister to admit that he signed a bad deal and give taxpayer dollars back?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we made a loan to Bombardier because we believe in the long-term success and viability of the aerospace industry in this country. We know that it leads to good jobs in communities right across the country, good jobs for middle-class Canadians in an innovative, high-quality workplace that is going to continue to be competitive the world around. We believe in the extraordinary products of the C-Series and the Global 7000 that are finding customers all around the world because we know Canadian innovation, Canadian ingenuity is going to create good Canadian jobs.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, Constable David Wynne was shot and killed in the line of duty by a career criminal out on bail because his criminal record was never presented at the bail hearing. Wynne's law, which is still before the House, would close this loophole, and it would save lives. Liberal backbenchers, in fact, were essential in making sure that this law passed. But yesterday, shockingly, and this is unbelievable, the Prime Minister ordered that this bill be gutted against the will of the House. Why?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we recognize the pain caused to the officer's family, especially his wife, Shelley McInnes Wynne, and their three sons, his RCMP colleagues, and the St. Albert community and beyond. Our government is committed to modernizing and improving our justice system so that we can protect victims and so that we can protect rights. That is exactly what we're moving forward on doing, and we look forward to hearing the committee's recommendation on what to do with this piece of legislation.
Order. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, this is unbelievable. The Prime Minister actually said to Constable Wynne's widow that he was very pleased that she was in Ottawa to discuss the bail system. He also claimed at that time that it was important that we keep our communities and our families safe. But by ordering the bill to be scrapped at committee, we now know that none of this was true, and he meant none of it. It's a complete betrayal. So what does he have to say now to Constable Wynne's widow?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we take very seriously the safety of Canadians, the safety of communities, the safety of the frontline officers that put their lives on their line to protect their fellow Canadians every single day. That's why I'm pleased that the committee took very seriously the study of this proposal to improve our justice system. And on this side of the House, Mr. Speaker, we believe in two things. We believe in evidence-based policy, and we believe in allowing committees to do their jobs.
Order. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
This is unbelievable. Conservatives, NDP, Green Bloc, and many Liberal backbenchers got up, voted, and did the right thing so this bill would pass. And now we're at committee where no one is watching, and the Prime Minister has ordered it to be gutted. This is disgusting, and the Prime Minister should be ashamed of himself.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
I can understand the member's confusion. On this government, we do not interfere with the functioning of committees. We allow committees to make their own determinations, to examine laws, to examine, hear from witnesses, and to make decisions based on evidence. We are committed to improving our justice system. We're improving to keeping Canadians safe. That's exactly what we're going to keep doing while we respect the hard work done by committees.
Order. 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 The Honourable Opposition House Leader will come to order. Honorable député d'Outremont.
Honourable Member for Outremont.
Mr. Speaker, the media has just reported that the Prime Minister has chosen a former Liberal cabinet minister to be the new Commissioner of Official Languages. Now, these officers of Parliament, these commissioners have to be above the fray. They can't be weighed down by the baggage of partisan loyalty. Can the Prime Minister tell us if that's exactly what's going on here? Because he's under a record number of investigations by commissioners. Has he simply decided that the best thing for him is that he decide from now on who gets to investigate him?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as the honourable member well knows, this party believes deeply in the importance of official languages, and we take very seriously a merit-based appointment. As part of that appointments process, Mr. Speaker, opposition members and leaders are consulted on potential names going forward, and we look forward to making an announcement in the coming days or weeks about any new commissioners.
The Honourable Member for Outremont. Mr. Speaker, this Prime Minister violated the Official Languages Act and was forced to apologize. The problem, as you might understand, is that he has no lesson to teach anybody. Appointing someone as close to him as this, to this position, is a conflict of interest. It's obvious. It undermines the authority of the institution of the Official Language Commissioner, and it's an insult to all Canadians who firmly believe in the importance of official languages. Will the Prime Minister withdraw this appointment, which makes no sense at all? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, one integral part of the appointment process involves consulting members of the opposition, which is what we are doing. We believe fundamentally in the protection of our official languages. We will choose someone of the highest caliber when comes time to protecting official languages, and we will announce this appointment in the coming days and weeks. The Honourable Member for Outremont. Let's talk about appointments, Mr. Speaker. We noted that the government posted position for the Infrastructure Bank Board of Directors. The little problem here is that the Infrastructure Bank has not yet been created. Can the Prime Minister explain how he finds it appropriate to try to fill positions for something that does not exist? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we know to what extent Canadians need infrastructure to get to school, to get to work, to get home on time, to move goods and services to market. It's very important to invest in infrastructure, and that's what we're doing. That's why we take very seriously the need to find very good people to see this issue progress, and we're taking this very seriously as a government. The Honourable Member for Outremont.
Answer. We're going to have to follow up on this with you, you see, because this government has created this privatization scheme during secret meetings with corporations, has never revealed this during the election, and never revealed that Canadians would be forced to pay tolls and user fees so that their buddies in the corporations can get their cut. Now he's headhunting for this bank that hasn't even been authorized by Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Does the Prime Minister really not understand the problem here?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I stood on the stage in Calgary in a debate with that member to talk exactly about the infrastructure bank that we were committed to building so we could leverage even more money into building good infrastructure for Canadians. As far as consultations, we've engaged extensively with mayors, with premiers, with a broad number of unions, of actors in the public sphere to talk about how we could make sure that the kinds of infrastructures that Canadians rely on to get from home to work, to live, to succeed, to thrive, to grow the economy, actually gets built, and that's what we're doing, Mr. Speaker.
Député de Lévis-Lobinière.
Honourable Member for Lévis-Lobinière. Mr. Speaker, the poor decisions by the Prime Minister lead him to have to explain himself to the Canadian public and the Conflict of Interest Commissioner as often as a disobedient kid ends up standing in the corner to think things over. The Prime Minister must exhibit some consistency and integrity and answer questions clearly before this House. Mr. Speaker, how many times has the Prime Minister met the Ethics and Conflict of Interest Commissioner to discuss his elastic version of ethics? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, as you know, I'm always perfectly pleased to work with the Commissioner to answer any questions she may have. The Honourable Member for Lévis-Lobinière. Mr. Speaker, this is a very simple question. It's also a question of trust. Canadians will deduce that there are laws that apply to them, but that some laws do not apply to the Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I repeat my question. How many times has the Prime Minister met the Ethics and Conflict of Interest Commissioner? How many times? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, as I always said, I'm always very happy to meet with the Ethics Commissioner and work with her to answer any question she may have on this topic and any other topic.
Opposition House Leader.
Well, Mr. Speaker, a moment ago, the Prime Minister arrogantly insulted our Opposition House Leader and said she was confused. Let me just say, I think this is actually full confusion right now with the Prime Minister. So I will repeat the question in English, because the question is not if he is happy or satisfied or feeling good about meeting the Ethics Commissioner. Has the Prime Minister met with the Ethics Commissioner? And if so, how many times? Very, very simple.
Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to work with the Ethics Commissioner and Conflict of Interest Commissioner to answer any questions she may have. That's what Canadians expect of the Prime Minister, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
Order. Order. The Honourable Member for Banff, Airdrie and others will come to order. The Honourable Opposition House Leader has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, what Canadians expect is that their Prime Minister would give a clear answer to a clear and a simple question. Now, if he has something to hide, then Canadians want to know that as well. So I would suggest, if he wants to send Canadians the message that he has nothing to hide, that he answer the question. How many times has the Prime Minister met with the Ethics Commissioner?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I am very happy to work with and answer the Ethics and Conflict of Interest Commissioner questions. I think it's extremely important that we be working.
Order. Order. Most members and all parties can sit through a question period without reacting to what they hear. And I think we should have confidence in the ability of Canadians to judge the quality of questions and answers. I'm sure members have confidence in Canadians to be able to do that, and they don't need the help of people heckling. The Right Honourable Prime Minister has the floor.
Canadians expect the Prime Minister to work with the Ethics and Conflict of Interest Commissioner anytime she has questions, and that's exactly what I've been doing.
The Honourable Member for Barrie Innisfil.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister keeps saying he's happy to meet with the Ethics Commissioner and answer any questions she might have, but he's really playing a game of political survivor by outwitting, outplaying, and outlasting the Ethics Commissioner over his vacation to Billionaire Island. It's been asked 4 times already. I don't even know why I'm trying, to be frank, but I'll repeat this simple question. How many times has the Prime Minister met with the Ethics Commissioner?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, happy, as should be any member of this House, to work with the Ethics Commissioner, answer any questions that she may have. I think that's important.
The Honourable Member for Barrie Innisfil.
What a charade, Mr. Speaker. This Prime Minister said he would stand up every Wednesday and answer every question that's being asked of every member on this side of the House, and he fails to do it. He's been asked 5 times today. Mr. Speaker, about the Ethics Commissioner. For the sake of my colleagues, I'll ask it again. How many times? 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 And how many times has he met with the Ethics Commissioner?
Losing time here. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians expect clarity, they expect consistently, and when asked the same question, I will give the same answer. That's what Canadians expect. I will work with and answer the questions that the Ethics Commissioner and Conflict of Interest Commissioner may have.
L'Honorable Député d'Outremont.
The Honourable Member for Outremont.
Mr. truly believes in the importance of question period. If he sincerely believes in transparency and accountability, he's going to have to find it somewhere inside himself to answer this very basic question, because it only concerns him, and he knows the answer. He is being investigated by the Ethics Commissioner. How many times has the Prime Minister communicated with the Ethics Commissioner? Answer the question.
Order. Order. Honourable Member for Huron-Bruce will come to order. Order. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, when asked the same question, I will give the same answer. I am happy to work with the Ethics Commissioner on any questions she may have. And one of the things that I like about Prime Minister's question period is I get to take questions from any MP across the way who has their questions, not just the party leaders, which I think is important for all members in this House to be able to ask direct questions of their Prime Minister.
The Honourable Member for Rosemont-la-Petite-Patrie. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. It seems the Prime Minister cannot count on his own fingers. The Liberal government announced a bank for the privatization of infrastructure, sponsored by BlackRock. 3 questions. How come they're already trying to fill board of directors positions when the bill hasn't even been adopted? Why isn't there nobody from the public sector on this board when there's $35 billion in public money in this thing? How come private companies can ask for funds for their own projects to meet their own needs? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, Canadians expect this government to build infrastructure that will help them in their day-to-day lives, in their economic productivity, in their quality of life, to get home. We made investments. We will make investments of $180 billion in the coming years on infrastructure, but we know that the needs are even greater. That's why we want to work with municipalities, provinces, unions, and many investors to create the necessary infrastructure. That's part of our vision for the future.
Springwater, Oral Medante.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, we know that the Prime Minister has said he will cooperate with the Ethics Commissioner, but what we want right now is cooperation with the House of Commons. For the 8th time, how many times have you met with the Ethics Commissioner?
I remind the honourable member for Barrie Springwater, Oral Medante, to direct his questions to the chair, the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to sit and work with the Ethics Commissioner on answering any of the questions she may have. That's the kind of things that is important to Canadians. What's also important to Canadians is making investments in the middle class, in growth for the economy, in putting forward a budget that's going to put more money in the pockets of the middle class and raise taxes on the wealthiest 1%. These are the focuses that our government has. The priorities of our government is serving the middle class and those working hard to join it.
The member for Louis Saint Laurent. All Canadians know that the Prime Minister has trouble counting. When came time to do election promises, there was a $10 billion deficit. Now it's $30 billion. He has trouble with numbers. So I'd like to ask him a very simple question. For the 9th time, how many times has he met with the Ethics Commissioner? Give us a clear answer. Canadians want to know. The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I'm very pleased to work with the Ethics Commissioner to answer any question she may have. But our priority on this side of the House is to work for the middle class and those working hard to join it, with historic levels of investment in infrastructure, in the CPP, investment in daycare, in affordable housing. That's what we're working for on this side of the House, and it's too bad that members opposite don't seem interested in all the good measures we're putting in place. The Honourable Member for Richmond-Tabasca. In my former life, I was a school principal, and when I listen to the Prime Minister, I get the impression I'm listening to a kid who's claiming he's happy to go see the principal and unable to say how many times he's been to see him. The question is simple. 0 times 1, 2, 3? I know it's below 5. And the question's a simple one. Is it 0 or 1? I get the impression the right answer is probably 0. The Right Honourable Prime Minister. I'm very pleased to work with the Ethics and Conflict of Interest Commissioner to answer any questions she may have.
Carlton.
Prime Minister was getting tired of pretending to answer the question, so he's decided he just won't even pretend to answer it at all. So I'll ask it one more time. We know that he has difficulty counting. How many times did the Prime Minister meet with the Ethics Commissioner with regards to the investigation into his trip to Billionaire Island?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I am happy to answer as many questions as the members opposite have, but if they ask the same question, they will keep getting the same answer, that I am pleased to work with the Ethics and Conflict of Interest Commissioner to answer any questions that she might have.
Member for Essex.
I think the problem is there's been no answer. Mr. Speaker, it's been 2 weeks and the Liberals still haven't woken up to the reality of the softwood lumber dispute. Hundreds of thousands of good jobs are at risk and mills across this country could shut down. With the Liberals asleep at the switch, provinces have taken it upon themselves to appoint their own envoys, and some are coming up with their own retaliatory threats. Instead of just handing out the 1-800 number for EI, when will the Liberals come up with a proactive plan to ensure that not a single softwood lumber job is lost?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
I thank the honourable member for her passion, for her question. This is an issue that matters deeply to many, many Canadians, and we're happy that this government is working very closely with the premiers, with the industry, with the American administration to ensure that we're standing up for Canadian jobs, that we're protecting the communities that are going to be affected by these punitive and unfair tariffs, and why we're working so diligently with the Americans to ensure that we come to an agreement on softwood lumber so we can end the pain for our individuals and our communities.
Honourable Member for Jonquière. Mr. Speaker, time is running out for the paper mills in Dolbeau and Kinogami. They're facing closing, and they provide 400 direct jobs in addition to many indirect jobs. And these are high-quality jobs, Mr. Speaker. This 18% tax on supercalendared paper is smothering the business. The government needs to take action quickly. Will the government commit to meeting with workers from Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean and making a concrete plan to help save these jobs? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we are working very seriously on this file, and we have been since we came to power over a year and a half ago. We've been talking with both American administrations. We're working with the regions, with mayors and municipalities, with the provinces, with the industry, and we know that this is a priority for Canada. I will always defend the interests of Canadians, and that's what we will continue to do.
Pontiac.
The Honourable Member for Pontiac. Mr. Speaker, many parts of Quebec and Ontario are dealing with significant flooding. Many families are in great difficulty, and considerable efforts are being made to keep citizens safe. I'd like to acknowledge the invaluable help of the Canadian Armed Forces. In the region of the Outaouais, including in Pontiac and Gracefield. There are many communities under a state of emergency, as is Gatineau. Can the Minister of National Revenue tell this House about the tax measures available to help families affected by the flooding? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. I thank the member for his question and for his work in Pontiac. Mr. Speaker, first, I'd like to extend my most sincere condolences to the family of Mike Gagnon, who was carried away by flooding in the Gaspé. We all stand in solidarity with them. Our top priority in such circumstances always has to be protecting our families. All those affected by flooding who may not be able to file a tax return or pay taxes on time can make a request for tax relief to the Canada Revenue Agency. On behalf of the government, I would like to thank all the volunteers who are helping those affected.
Albert Edmonton.
Speaker, yesterday the Liberals voted to defeat Wynn's Law at committee, thereby refusing to close a loophole that cost Constable Wynn his life. Can the Prime Minister tell Shelley McInnes Wynn, the widow of Constable David Wynn, why he thinks it's okay for prosecutors to withhold the criminal history of bail applicants like the career criminal who murdered Constable David Wynn?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
We take very seriously the responsibility of keeping communities safe, keeping Canadians safe, and keeping safe the frontline officers who put their lives on the line every day to keep Canadians and their communities safe. That's why we take so seriously the importance of making decisions based on evidence, based on proper consultations, in ways that we can actually improve the justice system in ways that will protect Canadians. That continues to be our focus, and I look forward to seeing what the committee has determined on this particular bill.
Honourable order. The Honourable Member for Kamloops Thompson Caribou.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Not only did they really miss their deficit targets by a whole lot, their revenue-neutral tax cut was off by $2 billion. So I know that there's some issues in terms of calculation. I'm going to try a different angle. A, was it 0 times did he meet with the Ethics Commissioner? B, was it 1 to 5? Or C, 6 to 10?
Right. Honourable Prime Minister.
That she might have. The fact is, on this side of the House, we are focused on making investments that are going to make a difference in the lives of Canadians. Whether it's investing in infrastructure to the tune of $180 billion over the coming years, whether it's investing in childcare spaces to help families, whether it's delivering a Canada Child benefit that's going to help 9 families out of 10 across this country, whether it was raising taxes for the wealthiest 1% so we can lower them for the middle class. This government is focused on the priorities of Canadians, and we're delivering.
Order. The Honourable Member for Flamborough-Glanville.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A new day, sunny ways, new respect for Parliament, answering every question of every member. We're going to respect Parliament more. These are all the things that the Prime Minister said when he was campaigning. And now today, as you said, Mr. Speaker, Canadians will be able to judge the veracity of those words. Could you please tell the House how many times you've met with the Ethics Commissioner?
I remind the Honourable Member for Flamborough-Glanbrook, who's an experienced member, that he's to direct his questions to the Chair, of course. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to work with the Ethics Commissioner to answer any questions she may have. We continue to be focused on the things that matter to Canadians, whether it's restoring the federal government's engagement in housing. For 10 long years, the federal government withdrew its support for national housing strategies. That's why we're pleased that low-income housing, that affordable housing for Canadians has once again become a priority for the Canadian government. We're happy to work with mayors, with provinces, with community groups to deliver on the kinds of housing needs that so many Canadians are facing after 10 years of lower than necessary growth under the previous government.
Order. I might be less distracted if people would quiet down. The Honourable Member for Cypress Hills Grasslands.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister broke the law. He accepted gifts worth thousands of dollars on Billionaires Island. He's under investigation by the Ethics Commissioner. His obligation is to be honest with Canadians. What's he covering up here? How many times has he communicated with the Ethics Commissioner?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to work with the Ethics Commissioner to answer any questions that she might have. Furthermore, our priorities on this side of the House continue to be making a difference in the lives of Canadians, particularly in terms of our seniors, where not only have we strengthened the CPP for a generation and ensured that future retirees have stable retirements, we've increased the guaranteed income supplement by 10% for our most low-income vulnerable seniors. We continue to look at ways to invest more in affordable housing for our seniors, because we know that after 10 years of that government, there were underinvestments in housing. This is the kinds of things we need to do.
Honourable Member for Cowichan, Malahat, Langford.
Mr. Speaker, Canada is party to 3 international treaties that outlaw the legalization of marijuana. In order to withdraw from these treaties, Canada must provide 1 year's notice to the other signatories. If the government plans to legalize marijuana by July 1st of 2018, then we need to withdraw from these treaties by July 1st of this year, or risk not being able to legalize until 2019 at the earliest. Will the Prime Minister commit to withdrawing from these treaties before the July 1st deadline?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we're choosing to legalize marijuana because the current system is failing Canadians. We are not protecting our children adequately because they have easier access to marijuana than they do to nicotine cigarettes. And we are continuing to funnel billions of dollars into the pockets of criminal organizations and street gangs. Everywhere around the world, Mr. Speaker, people are grappling with a failed war on drugs. People are very interested with the leadership that Canada is showing in terms of figuring out how to protect our kids better and pull away the profits from criminals and organized crime.
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly.
The issue where the Prime Minister says one thing and does another, because despite a firm commitment to limit the use of solitary confinement in federal prisons, there's still nothing to be seen of the promised reforms. Et Monsieur le Président,
Mr. Speaker, solitary confinement should only be used as a last resort because it has serious consequences on inmates' physical and mental health. Can the Prime Minister tell us exactly when we will finally see the reforms that we so urgently need?
Please.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we want to ensure that federal inmates have a safe environment that will help them rehabilitate and that will also keep staff safe. This is why we try to minimize the use of solitary confinement in federal institutions, particularly in the case of women, Aboriginals, and those suffering from mental health issues. We will continue to take steps to implement the Ashley Smith Inquiry's recommendations, and we have made investments in the Budget 2017 to ensure that mental health services are covered in federal institutions.
Mr. Speaker, I was going to ask about powerful new evidence that Canada's sanctions, monitoring, compliance and enforcement of criminal financial activity is dysfunctional, and the Liberals' foot-dragging and accepting the Foreign Affairs Committee's unanimous Magnitsky recommendations to get tough on corruption. But I think more relevant is the Prime Minister's dysfunctional performance in question period. So just how many times has he met the Ethics Commission?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, happy to work with the Ethics Commissioner to answer any questions that she might have. We continue as a government to focus on the priorities of Canadians, whether it's making sure that we're lowering taxes for the middle class, raising them on the wealthiest 1%, whether it's delivering a Canada Child benefit that gives more money to 9 out of 10 Canadian families by not sending child benefit checks to millionaires like this previous Conservative government did. We are focused on the things that matter to Canadians, Mr. Speaker, and we will continue to work hard to protect and defend the middle class and those working hard to join it.
Member for Calgary Nose Hill.
Mr. Speaker, a well-known French writer once said, "Man is not what he thinks he is what he hides." So will the Prime Minister stop hiding the truth and show Canadians what he's actually made of, and tell Canadians how many times he's met with the Ethics Commission?
Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to work with the Ethics Commissioner to answer any questions that she may have. We're going to continue to work on the things that matter to Canadians. We're going to continue to invest historic amounts in infrastructure that are going to help families get to and from work in a reasonable amount of time, back in time for their kids' soccer games. We're going to make the kinds of investments that make a difference in small businesses being able to get their goods to market. We're going to continue to engage constructively on the world stage to open up new markets for Canadian products and better options for Canadian consumers. These are the priorities of this government. We're going to continue working on those.
The honourable member for Sherwood, order. The honourable member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan.
Mr. Speaker, honorary Canadian citizenship should mean something. But Aung San Suu Kyi is refusing to allow UN investigators into Rakhine to study the ongoing ethnic cleansing. Canadians feel betrayed by this refusal. Now, this question needs an answer. Given the particular Canadian connection, will the Prime Minister commit to personally contacting Aung San Suu Kyi and pushing her to step up, allow access to Rakhine, and stop the ongoing slaughter of Muslim Rohingya?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this government is extremely concerned with the human rights abuses and the news coming out of Burma, of Myanmar. We know that we have a tremendous amount of work to do around the world to promote values that Canadians stand so strongly for, and making use of the connections we have with Canadians around the world is going to be an effective way of continuing to impress upon the world that the values that Canada stands for, the values of openness, respect, tolerance, and rights for defense of human rights remains a priority for all of us.
The honourable member for Thérèse de Blainville. Mr. Speaker, on May 5th, our government made an important announcement about innovation in international development. We announced the creation of the New Development Funding Institute, and we announced that its headquarters would be based in Montreal. Can the Prime Minister update the House about this new institute, which will allow us to form partnerships with small and medium-sized businesses from the private sector and to help those who are in need around the world? Right Honourable Prime Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before answering the question from my colleague for Thérèse de Blainville, I'd like to thank him for being here despite the flooding that are affecting his riding, and I know that he cares very much about that situation. In order for Canada to continue meeting the growing needs around the world, we need to innovate. That's why our government will be investing $300 million in this Development Funding Institute. This initiative will help fund green development initiatives and strengthen the socioeconomic standing of women.
Mr. Speaker, it's clear the Liberals are all show and no action. Perhaps another 6 months with their deliverology guru will allow the Prime Minister to work on his ability to deliver answers. How many times has the Prime Minister met with the Ethics Commissioner?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to work with the Ethics Commissioner and answer any questions that she may have. We continue to understand how important it is to work with Canadians to deliver on their priorities, whether it's extra help with the cost of raising kids, which the CCB is helping 9 out of 10 Canadian families, and reducing child poverty by 40%. We are putting forward concrete measures to improve the lives of Canadians. Whether it was strengthening the Canada Pension Plan for a generation and for the future. These are the kinds of things that make a significant difference in the lives of Canadians. We're going to continue to put Canadians' priorities first.
The honourable member for Laurier-Sainte-Marie.
Media reports have revealed that money stolen from Bill Browder by a Russian crime syndicate has ended up in 30 Canadian bank accounts. We're talking about $2 million associated with a massive tax fraud making its way into Canada, with the government apparently being unaware that this money laundering scheme is happening. What will the government do to put an end to this flow of illicit money?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this government cares deeply about the protection and promotion of human rights, which are core priorities that I bring up wherever I go and whenever we engage internationally. The question of how to effectively apply sanctions for human rights abuses and foreign corruption was among the issues examined by the Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and International Development. We welcome the release of the Standing Committee's report and are carefully considering its recommendations, as we know that Canadians expect their government to stand up for human rights and against corruption everywhere around the world.
Honourable Member for Pickering-Uxbridge.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians know that the infrastructure deficit in this country is significant and that governments need to be innovative in how they address this challenge. The proposed Canada Infrastructure Bank would be an additional tool to build new infrastructure by attracting private sector and institutional investors to support the transformational infrastructure that Canadian communities need. Can the Prime Minister update this House on the status of the creation of the Infrastructure Bank?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the member from Pickering-Uxbridge is herself a former municipal councillor, so she understands how important it is to make investments in infrastructure that are going to make a real difference in the lives of Canadians. So I'm pleased that our government recently announced the launch of an open, transparent and merit-based selection process to identify the bank's senior leadership. This process is designed to attract highly qualified individuals while taking into consideration the desire to achieve gender parity and to reflect Canada's linguistic, cultural and regional diversity. We encourage all Canadians to apply and look forward to receiving many qualified applicants.
The Honourable Member for Mégantic-L'Érable. Mr. Speaker, the moral of this question period, don't worry, I'm happy. That's the Prime Minister's new slogan. Because that's the answer that he gave to the Ethics Commissioner. Oh, no, wait, actually, he confirmed 17 times today that he hasn't spoken to the Ethics Commissioner, Mr. Speaker. Why is the Prime Minister refusing to answer the question? How many times has he met with the Ethics Commissioner, Mr. Speaker? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I'm very pleased to work with the Ethics Commissioner to answer any questions she may have. It's important to focus on the different ways that we are meeting the needs and concerns of Canadians, whether it's by investing in infrastructure that will make a real difference in their day-to-day life, or by investing in health, where we signed agreements on the Health Accord, which will allow for massive investments in mental health for the first time, and home care. We know how concerned Canadians are by having a government that's there for them.
Order. The Honourable Member for Saanich Gulf Islands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the Liberal platform, it was promised that there would be action on the changes that Stephen Harper made in the omnibus budget bills, particularly the elimination of the Navigable Waters Protection Act. In fact, it says we will, quote, review these changes, restore lost protections, and incorporate more modern safeguards, unquote. Unfortunately, the Transport Committee came to egregiously weak conclusions, recommending essentially keeping in place the Harper regime. Can the Prime Minister commit to restoring protections to Canada's navigable waters?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as a government and personally as a paddler, we are committed to promoting Canada's sustainable economic development while maintaining a safe transportation system and protection of our lakes and rivers. So absolutely, we will consider all input from the Independent House of Commons Committee on Transport, from the public, from Indigenous peoples, from provinces and territories, from a broad range of stakeholders, including industry and marine protection groups. This is something that we feel passionately about and are glad to be moving forward on.
Just thinking how nice it would be to be on the water paddling in my kayak. I would like to draw to the attention of honourable members the presence in the gallery of the finalists for the 2016 Shaughnessy Cohen Prize for Political Writing: Kamal O'Salili, Christy Blatchford, Ian Mackay and Jamie Swift, James McLeod, and Noah Richler. Tabling of documents. Order. Tabling of documents. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Government House Leader.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pursuant to Standing Order 36(8), I have the honour to table in both official languages the government's response to 2 petitions.
Introduction of government bills. Statements by ministers. Reports from interparliamentary delegations. Presenting reports from committees, the Honourable Member for Kenora.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I have the honour to present in both official languages the 9th report of the Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and International Development, entitled Order in Council Appointment of the Honourable Stéphane Dion to the position of Special Advisor to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And also, Mr. Speaker, I have the honour to present in both official languages the 10th report of the Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and International Development in relation to its study of the Order in Council appointment of the Honourable John McCallum to the position of